All right, let's do it.
And now I have to answer questions like this?
Yes, sir.
How much different is your lifestyle and day-to-day with having kids in a family versus being a bachelor?
Once you have kids, everything changes. Everything is about them. I have to push harder and harder and harder because what happens, God forbid, I'm not here tomorrow. I don't care about the cars. I don't care about the trips. What am I leaving them? I kind of started this whole thing, growing my personal brand on social media, just for fun. And our pages started turning out really nice. And that's where people started reaching out, is that we started helping people build personal brands, really start monetizing on social media. One individual told me, Billy, never chase the money, but the moment you start helping others, that's where money just starts flowing.
What would you say is the biggest lie people tell themselves that keeps them financially stuck in life?
You have that smaller group, the one-time action takers. Wow, I went to the gym for a month. I don't have muscles. If I did a business, I'm not a millionaire. And they're like, this doesn't work. Then you have that 1%. Those people that tried and failed. They did it again, and they did it again, and then again, until they saw results. Go sign yourself up at the gym. Start by there.
Has building this lifestyle actually made you happy?
Oh, man.
So, Billy, before the real estate, before the Moeller vacation lifestyle, which, by the way, you should trademark that.
We kind of did, but yeah, not officially.
Yes, yes. Who was Billy Moeller before all of it?
So Billy Moeller, I think, wasn't a point that this is not like a rags to riches story kind of a thing, right? I think I was in a worse position. I've always been blessed with my family, and they've always done good, but I was in a comfort state, right? I was kind of like my future was kind of already mapped out. My father had a cosmetic company back in Latin America. So since I was little, my plan was always, I'm going to take over his company, right? So I never strived, I cared about going to college, the right college, doing this, doing that, because in my mind, I'm kind of set, right? I'm going to take over his business. And that's how I kind of coasted through college, bare minimum. I'm like, all right, I'll do business so I can get some experience. Graduated as fast as I possibly could. And then I started working with him. And it got to a point that I'm like, I didn't want to fly back and forth to Ecuador. We were already living here in the States. But then I'm like, I'm just 100% comfortable, right? I wasn't striving for more. I was making a couple of grand a month.
How old were you at this point?
I was like 24, 25.
Okay. Wow. So most people love the rags to riches story, and I say that's the most common entrepreneurial success bring up, right? Mm-hmm. But what was the hardest part about being that version of yourself in that state of comfort?
Is I wasn't hungry. I was not striving for more. I was just where I was. I was happy making 3-4 grand a month, which obviously now it's not that much. But back then, I could have a car, I could have the apartment, but I was just coasting. So I wasn't really hungry. I wasn't pushing myself. And it got to a point that I started seeing other people having more success than me, working harder than me. And then I'm like, all right, something has to change.
Yeah.
And that was when I started shifting a little bit my mindset of trying to achieve more, you know?
Is there any part of that comfort identity still within you?
I mean, there's always going to be, I think for everyone, that piece of comfort inside of you, right?
Sure.
That at the end of the day, it's mindset. You just have to push through. It doesn't matter what level you get to. You can always be comfortable at that level.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's you're
said.
making $5,000 a month or $100,000 or $1 million, that's where you see the different individuals that succeed even more, because they're like, I'm not happy with 100,000.
Yeah.
I'm not happy
Standards
with $1 million.
increase.
Yeah.
So if you get comfortable, you can get comfortable in any of the different stages of life.
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
Through that.
And I think once you have kids, like you were mentioning before the podcast, that plays in a little bit. You get a little comfortable and your focus kind of goes on them. You're like, I want to spend way more time with them. I'm not growth minded right now of worrying about making X amount of money each year more than I did last year. It's like, I want to be present in their life.
1,000%. And one of the things, like before I got married and started like the whole entrepreneurial, and it was just me, right? I was taking care of me. So I wanted the cars, I wanted the traveling, I wanted the luxury, the watches, this and that. Like you said, once you have kids, everything changes. Everything is about them. So now I think I have to push harder and harder and harder, because what happens, God forbid, I'm not here tomorrow. What am I leaving them? I don't care about the cars. I don't care about the trips. Those are just add-ons. Those are experiences that are amazing for me and my family. but it's having that security for them even after I'm gone, you know?
Yeah. How much different is your lifestyle and day-to-day now with having kids and a family versus before, like you were talking about, just being a bachelor or having kids in general?
Drastic, man. I never leave the house. And that's where I'm the happiest, right? Whenever I have to leave the house, if I'm not with my family, I do it for business, but if it's my choice, I stay home. I'm staying with them, enjoying them. Before it was like, where can I go? Where can I go meet girls? Or where can I travel? Or I was always thinking of the next trip. So I was never satisfied, even though it's always good to be grateful, not satisfied, and always pushing for more. But right now with my family, it's like, that's all I care about right now.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. That's a good place to be. Was there ever a point in your life, going back to your kind of origin story, that you thought you'd work a 9-to-5 job, or was it you kind of felt secure knowing your dad owned a company that you were always going to follow that path?
And that was the funny thing, that life kind of wakes you up sometimes, right? Where I thought that was 100% a secure job, steady thing that could last forever. And in a way, that was a 9-to-5 because it was a corporate job. I had to be there at 7:30, leave 6 or 7. I even had to stay longer. I was the boss's son, so I had to kind of set the example.
Okay.
But then I never took in consideration that things can change for his business. I mean, right now he retired. He no longer has a company. He works here. And I think, what would have happened if I would have stayed there, right? Things changed drastically in Latin America. The business has changed. So my dad is like, I'm not going back. Close the company. I'd be sitting with nothing right now, right? So that's where, like, wow.
Yeah, that's crazy to think. So you kind of talked about your mindset started shifting. What specifically in your mindset changed to break away from that and have the 9-to-5 go away?
I kind of started seeing other people, right? They always say the comparison is the thief of joy, right? But if you canalize and channelize that whole thing, or whatever the word is, my brain is frozen right now.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
You see at other people what they're doing, instead of kind of seeing the negative out of it, you take the positive. And I started seeing other people around me in my circle, friends, that started achieving way more. And I'm like, okay, what are they doing differently that I'm not, right? I'm like, okay, I'm in the 9-to-5. I have a limit. I have a ceiling, right?
Sure.
They didn't. And then I'm like, okay, I have to start shifting. I have to start changing my mindset and then taking it from there. And I started freezing right now.
I can hear the shivers coming on. I love it. So for both of you, actually, I think a lot of people think the rags to riches is the easiest way to come up because you're at a place of pain, disparity. But would you say, coming from a place of comfort, it was actually hard to kick yourself in the ass and make something of yourself?
I think it's way harder because once you're like broke or you're completely at the bottom, there's no way but up.
Damn right.
That's where you get creative. That's where you start looking for alternatives. I don't know who it was that they did the question is like, if I put a gun into your head and say, your wife is gonna die unless you make $1 million.
Yeah.
You go find a way to
my
make
first
$1
ever
million
coach
tomorrow.
Dude, that's what kicked me in the butt. Is my first ever mentor called it the gun to your head challenge.
Yeah.
If you don't accomplish this in a month, what would you not want to do? And my thing that I could not do if I didn't accomplish X was I couldn't work out for a month. Hell no. I will
100%.
not allow myself to not work out for a month. So I must.
Yeah.
I have to accomplish X.
And yeah, once you're in the comfort zone, you're like, I don't really care. I'm not finding ways to get better. I'm not finding other alternatives to improve myself, whether it's physically, mentally, financially. You're just kind of stuck. And that's where I think the majority of individuals are, in a comfort zone, where they're like, this is my life. These are the cards that were dealt for me.
Yeah.
This is it.
So what you're saying is when you come from a place of comfort, in a way, you have to force the rock bottom.
100%. Like finding myself out of the comfort zone of a cold plunge like this and not shaking.
I think that's a sign right there. I think we should transition. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah. All right, let's make it happen.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh, man. Rocket. Yeah, dude. You finally got the arms in there. That was probably a whole nother level after that.
The shivering just got worse there.
I know.
Quick shout out to the Pod Company, the sponsor for the Cold Tub Talks. I'm sitting here in the Ice Pod Pro, Coach Devin's in the Long Pod, and you can get your discounted cold tub in the description below. Check it out for yourself.
All right, we're back, and Billy's done shivering.
No, I'm still shivering.
He's still shivering.
I'm probably going to shiver throughout the whole thing, man.
Yeah, you're not alone. So with the heavy shift into the online sector and having that freedom from home, was there ever a point where the online business ventures were not working?
I mean, we got early into the whole like social media, internet, and everything that it started flowing beautifully. So we started getting to the personal space. I kind of started this whole thing like from growing my personal brand on social media, and it started for fun. Like we used to travel with my family. We went all over the place. So I started kind of posting pictures on my Instagram for fun. Alongside my brother, and it started kind of like a competition of who got more likes and just for fun, right? But then our pages started turning out really nice, right? It's the layout and the content and everything. And that's where people started reaching out and saying, what are you guys doing? Who's managing your account? So we started into that online space, and we're kind of the first ones that we started helping people build personal brands, really start monetizing on social media. To that point, only influencers were actually making money on social media through paid partnerships and ads through products. But we were kind of starting the ones that kind of started the whole entrepreneurial, like monetize your Instagram in a business way, right? Getting more eyes and stuff. I don't want to say we started it, but we're kind of the bigger ones in the beginning that. So it was kind of an easier route versus like a lot of people are starting now with social media, which is way harder.
Do you remember what year that was?
2018, I believe it was, more or less.
So you're basically starting to make something of yourself at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where it kind of just came out of nowhere.
What did that phase, that come up, so to say, teach you about yourself?
That I'm like, I should not be closed out to new opportunities. Let's say I was still working in my father's company, and I started doing this whole social media stuff, getting a few clients. It started like a side hustle kind of a thing. I'm like, okay, I'm making an extra $500. I'm making an extra $1,000. All of a sudden, it's like I'm making an extra $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. It got to a point that I was making more on my side hustle than I was at my father's company. And that's where I'm like, all right.
Yeah, that'll stop you right there.
I had a ceiling with my dad's company. My dad was very, very good at not saying, okay, you're my son and here is the keys to the entire thing. You're going to be a president now. He's like, you're going to start at the bottom, work your way up, learn everything. So I knew I had milestones throughout the company before I could actually start earning. And with the whole social media, in like 3-4 months, I was making the same thing I was making at my dad's company. And that's where kind of a bulb went off. I'm like, wow. Okay. I can make that much more.
Now, did you have an offer, or directly from the monetization of social media you were making more?
No. It came out from random people started reaching out and saying, hey, who's managing your account? Who's posting for you? I'm like, I am. Like, oh, can you help me out? And that's where like, all right, we didn't have like a business plan of helping people, but just from being consistent on social media, people started reaching out and saying, can you help me out? I'll pay you. And we're like, all right, I guess. So we started getting paid to help people and guide them and teach them how to grow on social media and that whole thing. And then it just turned into a massive company. Yeah, it was crazy.
When it comes to that, what criticism bothers you the most that you get from people when it comes from business or content perspective?
I mean, the whole thing is putting yourself out there, right? Like everybody knows, the more eyeballs you have on you, the more attention you have, the more opportunities, the more money you can make, right? But you have to kind of step out of that comfort zone and just be open, right? We started posting about everything, kind of documenting our life, just sharing absolutely everything that we were doing, people we were helping. And with that comes the criticism. Oh, they're showing off, all this and that. You just have to kind of like block those things, ignore them, because at the end of the day, you know, if somebody's criticizing, if somebody's talking bad, you most likely are doing something good.
Yeah.
So that's where we're like, all right, we're on to something.
Yeah. And that's what I was curious of. How do you separate the criticism from just the noise of people, especially owning a business, being successful, because everyone's always got an opinion. But for people watching at home that are maybe starting businesses up, how do you personally separate it of knowing what's valid and what's not coming from someone?
Okay, obviously right now it's from experience. You kind of know. It's easy to pick out who's hating and who actually wants to give you proper advice. We're always open. I'm always open to having advice on if I'm doing something wrong, if I said something. I mean, let's face it, we're in a society that everybody gets offended very, very easily. So you have to kind of filter that out and say, okay, listen, I'm going to be doing what I do. And a lot of people might get offended or not. I don't really care. But I'm always open if somebody says, listen, maybe do this or maybe that'll work out better. I accept criticism that way. But unfortunately, the majority of people are just haters that they're just talk bad because they're not doing anything with their lives, you know? So they have time to criticize, but not do it for them.
Yeah.
Straight to the point.
Should people only take criticism or opinions from people that are doing better than them in life, would you say?
I think so. If somebody's doing better, first of all, if somebody's better, doing something better than you, most likely they're not going to criticize you. They're going to give you advice, right? If somebody's criticizing you, directly attacking you, most likely they're not doing something at the level that you are.
Or at least constructive criticism.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're getting straight on criticized, they're most likely not at a different level. But somebody that's doing something good is gonna help you criticize and then take that advice, right? And that's where I've like all the advice that I get or the people that I follow is people that either have what I want, know the people that I want to know, or doing something that I want to do. So that's where I kind of take my guidance from.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's
good 3 key points right there.
Yeah. What's the greatest piece of constructive criticism you got that made the biggest impact in your life?
Business-wise or just in general?
Let's go business, and then you can go general if you have to.
One of the biggest things that one individual told me, very, very successful, he says, Billy, never chase the money. And we've all heard of this, right? But the moment you start helping others achieve their goals, make money, that's where money just starts flowing. So I was at a point that I was making pretty good money, but I was always chasing it. Like, how can I make more money? How can I go from this to that? And money was always on my mind, right? When I started shifting, like, how can I help people make more money? How can I help people build their brands, build or whatever it is? That's where just money started flowing at a different way. Yeah. So that is that kind of advice, like, don't chase the money. Find something that you can help others, and money just flows.
So chase the impact.
Basically, yeah.
And in the business world, that is such common knowledge, but it's not common practice.
It's crazy. It's one of those things I always see. The information's out there.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people that even heard that bit, I already know that. I always remind myself, don't ever say, I know. Just say, thanks for the reminder.
100%.
People are always in their own way, in their own ego, saying, I knew that. I've heard that. But a lot of good content is regurgitated content. Whether it's fitness, health, we've discovered a lot of what we need to live a good life. And when people have heard something, they write it off.
Yeah.
But what you just said is so impactful and powerful. That really is such a strong key to life, but most people just heard it before. No,
it's crazy. I kind of break down the entire population into like 4 groups. Okay. Right? We have the massive group, the masses, the majority of people. They have all the information. Information is free. We've all heard it. Like you say, social media, there's information out there for days, for years. Those people are just, they know what to do, whether it's fitness-wise, how to get fit, how to be healthy, or how to be successful. They just don't do anything. They're complacent. They're at the place, like we're talking over at the freezing tubs. They don't care what they are, and they're not going to do anything about it, right? Then you have a slightly smaller group where it's people that want to change. They want to make a difference in health and fitness and entrepreneurship. But those are the people that are going to start Monday. They're going to start the 1st of January. They're going to start when they come back from their trip, but they never do it. Like you said, they don't take action. And then you have that smaller group, the one-time action takers, that actually do something. But then they realize that, wow, I went to the gym for a month. I don't have muscles. I started a startup. I did a business. I'm not a millionaire. And they're like, this doesn't work. It's a scam. That's the little, it's a scam group, right? It doesn't work, so it has to be a scam.
We're sold the shortcut and people buy into it.
100%. And then you have that 1% that everybody knows. The action takers, but not only the action takers, is those people that tried and failed. Went to the gym, didn't see results. Started a business, it didn't work out. They did it again. And they did it again and then again until they saw results.
Trial and freaking error.
And trial and
People
error.
that'll do whatever it takes.
I mean, we live in a one-click generation where we're one click away from getting food delivered. We're one click away from any products from Amazon, same-day delivery. One click away from being in front of a million movies, a billion shows. And then people kind of translate that, or they want that into their fitness, into their business, where they're like, I want one click, boom, I want abs.
Dude.
You guys know that.
Yeah, the
That
convenience,
brings
man.
me right back to what you said in the tub. The toughest place to come out of is comfort. And we live in
100%.
such a comfortable place. on
It's
earth.
crazy. Nobody wants to put the work. Nobody wants the effort. Nobody wants the failures. I've had people reach out to me. It's like, oh, listen, I kind of took your advice and did this. It didn't work out. It sucks. What a scam, this and that. I'm like, you don't really see the actual successful people, what they had to go through to get to where they are. I mean, you hear the stories. I don't know what CEO, whether it was Disney or one of the monster companies, that they got rejected like 350 times for a loan.
Yeah, that was Walt Disney.
Walt Disney, right?
Yeah.
So imagine they just see the massive success. They don't see what they actually went through. Or some people say, well, yeah, but he went into this business and made millions in 5 months. Yeah, but they don't see that individual started 18 other companies and all of them failed. He's been doing this for 20 years. So we just want instant gratification, no work, no effort, no risk.
Wow.
And it's crazy.
Yeah. I can still see the shiver in your leg, by the way. Look at it.
No, I'm just hearing music in the background.
Oh, is that you got me.
I'm trying to play it off, not shaking,
That
but
was
yeah.
a witty answer. That's good. He almost fooled me. Yeah. Not to call my mom out, but she's in tier 2 for sure. The whole wait till Monday. Everyone's been there, but when you said that, I'm like, oh, it's my mom. She always wants to start. on
And the
Monday,
funny
but
part is that we're all there at certain different points.
It's the stage of desire, but it's hard to follow through sometimes. It's
100%.
Quick heads up, InstaShred isn't just this podcast. We offer bespoke online coaching for busy men who want to improve their appearance, performance, and health. Everything is tailored, everything is remote, and we've already helped over 4,400 men transform their lives. Just click the link below in the description and head over to instashred.com to book your free call.
The hardest part is kind of being an all-around individual, right? I see a lot of people like in my gym, extremely fit guys. They're dialed in, dedicated,
Okay.
but they're slacking on the business side. And then I have extremely successful individuals that are slacking on the physical side or in the mental or in the family side. So it gets to a point that we were talking before the cold plunge. It's like, I don't know, one of you asked me like, what was the kind of the hardest part is like putting my family and my fitness and my health and my business, kind of like, how do you juggle all these things?
I love that blend because that's a fulfilled life. I look at so many individuals and it sounds egotistic, but I say to myself, with almost everyone, I wouldn't trade my life for theirs because they don't have balance.
Yep.
So many people in business, they're fixated on money. Like, I don't give a shit how much money you make.
100%.
You don't have your health. You don't feel the way I feel when I wake up. You don't feel the way I feel when I go to bed. When I'm just sitting on the couch throughout the day, you've got stress, pain, and areas that I don't have to deal with.
Yeah.
And no amount of money would ever be a good trade-off for that.
And it's funny because then you get like a lot of successful, highly successful individuals. They say for you to be successful, there is no balance.
Yeah.
There's no life balance. And to a certain point, they're right. If you want to have that crazy success, you have to go all in, day out into a certain thing.
Sure.
But then obviously I don't want to get to a point that I'm like 50, 60 years old and I'm like, wow, I have all these millions and I skipped watching my kids grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Like, and then you get to the point that like you would trade everything to go back.
And there's a way to have what you want. You can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
You really can. And from a fitness perspective, we've studied the human body and we're obsessed with what we do, that we've realized, hey, you can be in phenomenal shape, be in the top 1%, working out 2 to 3 times a week, eating like a king, still enjoying pizza with the family, beers with the boys in moderation, and still build your business. 30, who
100%.
doesn't have 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week?
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
So I get all in, but there's still like when it comes to this one vessel that you have to live in for the rest of your life, you got to take care of it.
100%. And we hear all the stories about, they had millions or billions and then they got sick and they're like,
Yeah,
that
they
doesn't
die.
count. Like they say, you can be dealing with 100 problems in your life right now. As soon as you have a health concern, automatically you have one problem. Everything else take a backseat. So now you're focused on making money. You're focused on this, on that. But as soon as you get sick, that's it. That's your only priority.
And that is a hard thing for the general population to recognize before it happens.
Yeah.
That's why the pharmaceutical industry is one of the biggest.
Yeah. We all think we're invincible until it happens.
100%. And the thing is that we always have the medicines to cure something, but we don't prevent it. And that's where like fitness and health comes in. Is like,
don't get me
I got a lot of
started.
friends that say, I don't go to the gym. I don't eat healthy, this and that, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
And they can be fine. They could be healthy. They
Yeah,
do blood work and they're good.
Yeah.
But they don't know 20 years from now, those little compounding effects of not sleeping right, not eating right is going to come back.
Yeah.
That's what people need. Take notes right there. Go on over to instashred.com, baby.
Yeah.
So what do most people get wrong about making money online?
Again, they want it immediately, right? They always know they have to add value. They have to do this. They have to do that. But they just want it tomorrow. And you see all the OnlyFans girls and they're making millions of millions and they did it in 4, 5, 6 months. And they say, okay, why are they making that money? What am I doing wrong that I'm not as successful as all these people? So people start living through other people, what they see on social media, which is for the most part, 100%, not 100%, but the 85%, not real.
Yeah, it's a highlight.
Right, it's a highlight. So people are not patient. And that's one of the things, let's say, for me in fitness and everything I've been doing, it's taught me patience above the majority of things, right? That you can't just expect to have results immediately. You have to be patient.
Well, the reason I asked that question is because you referenced the individual or individuals in the gym that you run into, and they're like, "Oh, Billy, I tried this and that, but it didn't work." It's like they're done. They folded. To become that top 1%, you've got to be resilient.
Yeah.
100%.
So, what do you? What mindset shift would help individuals see this differently? Not give up after 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 tries.
I mean, I say look at the top individuals. Start studying people, right? Study the people that are extremely successful. Again, people that have what you want, because everybody wants different things, right? So you just kind of find the right individuals that maybe are living the lifestyle that you want. And then study them. What have they done? How many times have they tried something? And then get into that, say, okay, if so-and-so are at this level and they failed 18 different times, it's okay if I fail once or twice or 3 times. Maybe you learn from their mistakes. You're not going to fail 18 times. You might fail 9 times, but you're still going to fail. So it's just kind of, again, in the gym. It's like if you go to the gym for a week, nothing's going to happen. You have to go the next week and then the next month and then the next year. Because if not, you're never going to see those results, you know? So it's kind of like, don't give up. Know that every single successful individual out there has gone through what you're going through. They have failed multiple times and they just kept persevering. It's just the consistency of the day to day, you know?
Yeah. Is there a person or two that comes to your mind as far as who's influenced you?
Oh, man, I want to say my dad, a big portion. I mean, I've seen what he's done, what he's worked, and the adversities, even though it was his company, it's even worse. I mean, it's days that maybe back in the many years ago, is like a lot of like financial situations and how he overcame that. And being next to him and learning everything, that's been a big motivator and coach for me. Yeah.
And through all that stress, did he treat you guys well?
Oh, no.
As a family?
Amazing dad. Yeah.
Wow.
100%.
So that's not easy.
No.
Business stress gets
Yeah.
to a lot of people in the worst way.
And he's been really, really good. And that's one of the things that I've always tried is you got to keep business on the business side. Like the stress and the hardship and whatever, keep it at the office. Even if your office is at home, keep it at the office. And then everything else is completely different. So if he had a horrible day or a horrible month, he didn't bring that home and showed it towards us.
Like the attitude has to be completely separated. Yeah. That's one of the things I learned is like, you have to learn how to compartmentalize. I can never say that word. Into the point that, okay, if something happens in my business, I shouldn't be able to take that out on my wife or my kids or my family or anyone.
Yeah, nothing that has to do with them. They were a part of it or wasn't their fault.
Which isn't easy. I mean, sometimes we don't scream to our clients or whoever it is. We end up taking it out to the people that have nothing to do with it.
Right at home, like you said, it's the same dynamic for me. You can walk right out of your office and you're in your living room or kitchen.
Yeah.
Your family is right there. So sometimes it's so easy to intertwine the two because your home is work.
100%.
Yeah. I think Tony Robbins says that to where you always treat the closest people in your life the worst because you're the closest to them. Yeah. It's the easiest to do.
100%. And then we get comfortable. I don't want to say comfortable treating other people bad, but it's just the people that we're so close with. It's easier.
Yeah.
Versus like say a client or a partner or totally. It's a little weird, right?
Yeah, my wife was just pointing at me behind the scenes because she is like the kindest person in public, comes from the service industry, and sometimes she'll say something to me and I'll think to myself, man, you wouldn't have said it that way to anyone else, would you? Exactly. We're around each other all the time. We're with each other 24/7.
Yeah, you're comfortable with your spouse or whoever it is, so it's easier to get mad or whatever it is, you know. But it's not fair for sure.
Yeah. Exactly. What would you say is the biggest lie people tell themselves that keeps them financially stuck in life?
Oh, well, that's a good one. I mean, a lot of lies. Like, I can't do it. Or one of the biggest is like, I don't deserve it. Like, why should I have this? And it's weird because I've dealt with a lot of people that their self-esteem is so low, right? And other people tell them, you're amazing, you're great at what you do, this and that, but they just kick themselves down and they actually don't think they deserve to be successful. They don't think that they deserve to be whatever it is they're looking for. And that's the biggest enemy we have sometimes is us. It's our mind. So every time, let's say I wake up, I'm like, okay, today is going to be an insane day. It's going to be an abundant day. It's like, put that out there. Dude, I believe in energy and everything, because if you're always constantly thinking negative things happen. All those people are like, I'm so unlucky.
Yeah.
You're unlucky because you keep saying it, you keep declaring it. So obviously you're attracting the negative. So it's kind of like getting out of that mindset of just start being positive regardless of where you are or what's happening in your life. It's like everything's going to be good. So it's just kind of like they don't think they deserve it, and everything they attract is negative because of it.
Yeah. At what point in your life did you realize you needed to change that?
When I started kind of like the whole entrepreneurship, I was kind of in a point where I was working at my father's company and kind of like in that comfort zone that we were talking about. And then I was starting to travel back and forth, and I'm like, oh, this is horrible. I don't want to do this. And then that's where I kind of started focusing. Why am I complaining? Why am I complaining about going to Latin America? Why am I complaining about having to do this meeting or this or whatever it was? And then just start kind of switching it. I'm like, wow, I'm blessed that I get to do this. I'm blessed that I get to see that person or have this job or do this. So it's just kind of flipping that switch, you know, just seeing the positive.
Yeah. I can't help but to smile because as simple of a statement that is, it just goes to show how fascinating the human mind is, but also how catastrophic it can be.
100%.
Because you can be the biggest dreamer and accomplish almost anything if you're in that state of mind, or you can be the complete opposite. You can second guess yourself and doubt your ass all freaking day and won't get shit done.
And it's happened to me before, and it happens still because that's something that it's not like you switch your mindset and it's switched forever. Something that you have to work on it every single day. And sometimes I'll go into calls and I'll go into investor meetings, or I'm trying to close a deal. How I go into that call or into that meeting usually determines the outcome of that meeting.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
So sometimes I'm like, oh, what if I don't close it? What if I say the wrong thing? Or if this doesn't go through, then this won't go through. And then I start like psyching myself out. Then I go into the meeting and guess what happens? I don't close the deal.
Yeah.
Something falls through. Something happens.
Yeah.
Versus when I go in, I'm like, I'm gonna close this deal. It's already a done deal. I'm just gonna go in and finalize it. And usually I close whatever deal or whatever it is I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, what would you say to the people watching at home? What's one step they could take in their life to kind of shift their mindset into a more positive one?
Start with the little things, right? Start with things that are not 100% that complicated, that hard, just day-to-day things. Like, let's say, the gym. Go sign yourself up at the gym. Start by there, right? And then go one day. Yeah. People think that they have to go all in, all at once. And if you go to the gym, and so you have to start with the diet and go six or 7 times a day, a week. So no, start baby steps, right? Just like we learned how to crawl and then walk, and then nobody was born and started sprinting, right? So you just have to do little things. Small things over time compound into massive things, right? We just want massive results today without really having done anything. So I can't just imagine that. It was funny because like 2 years ago, I think it was, I traveled with my wife. I forget where it was, but in the hotel we were staying, there were all these Ironman guys. Like they were going to compete for an Ironman at that city. And I've always liked challenging myself. And I'm like, all right, I could do an Ironman. And I'm like, I got back to Miami and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do an Ironman. My wife's like, oh my God, here we go. It's one of those Billy things that he's going to start doing.
Hey, I like that.
And I'm like, okay, I was 100% convinced I was going to do an Ironman.
Okay.
Until I Googled what it takes to do an Ironman. And how many months I have to train prior. I thought in a month, I got that down. And then I started seeing everything and how long you have to swim and run and bike. I shut the laptop and I went on to the next project. I'm like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
But if I would have started maybe jogging and then maybe riding bike a little bit, and then those things aren't that impossible, right?
True. I think that's where people get stuck. What you were saying is they have the all or nothing mindset, we like to say. Most people give up because it's either they do it all now or they don't want to do it at all.
Yeah.
They don't want to take the little steps to get a little bit better. And then once they can't accomplish it, they're like, nope, I can't do it.
I will counter that a little bit because I know we're definitely top 1%ers, but there's a couple scenarios in life where you just throw yourself into the fire and you don't have to prep and you can still accomplish what most people would have had to prep for. One example is we both threw ourselves into the fire with a 100-mile bike ride. We got invited last minute and we're like, I think we can do that. Went for one 20-mile bike ride together and we realized, 20 miles, like we kind of knocked that out. We can do 100, right? Well, we got through the 100. It was hell.
Yeah.
But we made it through a 100-mile bike ride with zero prep. Same with my first 10-mile run. I've never, ever been a runner. I went for 2 runs beforehand just to kind of see, okay, if I can do half of 10,
you can do
I can assume that the rest is just mindset.
Yeah.
And I accomplished the 10. But I'm sure 100%. An Ironman is another level. I can't speak from experience. I've never done one. But
But then again, it's also priorities. Right. For me, it's like, what do I get out of doing Ironman?
I would be the same way. I would shut that laptop too because I'd be like, I'm not willing to prioritize that over my family, the life I want to live in my business.
Yeah, I read you have to go in like 8 months of full dedication. I'm not going to do that. Right. Let's say I did the fast. Right. I started going into the fasting. I've always been big into health and fitness and all that sort of stuff. I'm always challenging myself in that.
Yeah.
And I went straight into a 72-hour fast.
Oh, yeah.
Because I said if I do the 24-hour, then I'm going to see how much that sucks.
Yeah.
Then I'm probably never going to do the 70. So I just went all in.
That's it.
But it's just priorities, right? And we just have to learn how to prioritize the things that we want, focus on the things that are important to us. A lot of people don't set goals, don't kind of see an overview of what they actually want. If you want to spend time with your family as much as possible, then do things that allow you to do that. Don't go out and find the 9 to 5 in 30 minutes away where you know you're not going to be able to be home.
Dude, that's it. That's why InstaShred is the way. 2 to 3 days a week and no crash dieting.
Yeah.
That's the life right there.
I actually switched. I started doing like 3-4 workouts per week now.
Yeah.
I've gotten better results than when I was doing like 6 or 7. I thought I have to work out every single day.
And from a longevity aspect, think about how much less you're beating up your joints and ligaments.
Oh, 100%. Not worth it.
Man.
Yeah.
Has building this lifestyle actually made you happier?
1,000%. Yeah, and it all clicked, and I thank God because I think He kind of puts you in a path knowing what maybe you don't know you want. And we've always said, listen, find something that you can do that you love doing. And for a lot of people, that could be the office or whatever it is, right? For me, it's like, I want to be home. I want to work from home. And the entire concept, let's say for Wi-Fi money, the whole concept behind that was making money with Wi-Fi. You have Wi-Fi on your laptop in your house, right? So we were able to do that. And it wasn't until like I had my kids, my daughter 3 years ago, that I said, wow, everything I've worked for and everything I've done and built in the systems allow me to work from home now and be able to enjoy it with my family.
Yeah.
So it's been amazing on that route because I'm doing everything that I've wanted to do. Obviously, we're always hungry, always grateful, never satisfied, right? We're always pushing for more. But I'm always going to push for more as long as I can be with my family, spend time, work from home. And that's what, let's say, the whole personal branding has allowed me. Like, I built more relationships through the internet than I have one-on-one with people, you know? So I'm able to expand my reach and meet people from Europe, from Asia, from my personal brand, and partnerships and businesses have come out of it. And I'm able to do it all through my social media, which allows me to work from home, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you've got the balance, man. That's why you're here today. A lot of people want what we have.
100%. No.
Is there anything that you would have expected success to fix, but it didn't?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that success doesn't fix.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's getting away from like the highlight reel because it all sounds grand in the scheme of things. But in what ways, man, my life didn't change so much even though I achieved X?
I want to say, let's say, I find joy in the little things, in the free things that I thought once I have this amount of money, I'm going to be exponentially happy. You get to a point of making money where you can make that much more and you're not getting happier, right? I've realized that what makes me happy is being healthy. It's my family. It's spending time with my kids. All those things, and all those things are free, right? Obviously, you have to be able to do those things and work from home or whatever it is. But I mean, it's kind of that just finding things that make you happy, not always cost money, you know? And obviously the mindset. Money is not going to change your mindset. Sometimes you get into a point that it's even harder because of it, right? So mindset is everything, and money doesn't change mindset. I know a lot of people that are multi-millionaires, a couple billionaires that aren't happy.
Yeah.
And that's mindset.
Yeah.
True.
No.
I mean, kind of going off that, you see so many people, even celebrities or millionaires, and people looking from the outside in automatically think they have the life, everything's great. But how many people still take their lives accomplishing everything that there is in life? I mean, it's absolutely insane. You look and you would think, oh, why would that person take their life? They had everything made. They had endless amounts of money. They had a family. They had kids. But most people look at the biggest thing that they think is important, right? Money. They had money. How could they not be happy? They have everything they would need.
Crazy. And that's where I think like health and fitness ties in. That's kind of the key component, right? Because in everything you do, there's different factors that come into play, right? So when it comes to, you can have all the money in the world. You can have a family. Everything could go right. But let's say if your health is not dialed in, your fitness, I mean, we all know health is wealth. We've all heard it, right? The better, the healthier you are, the fitter you are, the better you feel, the more self-esteem you have, the more confidence you have. And going to your point, there's a lot of people that have even taken their lives because maybe they weren't in that spot. They had the wealth, they had the family, maybe they didn't have the health. So they didn't get right sleep. They're on medications. They didn't feel right. The worse you feel, the more medicine you need or this and that. So it gets to a point that obviously you have everything, but you're still not happy. I think health and everything has a big play in that role, you know? It's funny because let's say I quit drinking 3 years ago. Okay. Once my daughter was born. I said, I don't ever want my daughter ever see me either drunk or hungover. And at this age, hangovers lasted a good bit, right? I would drink on a Friday, and Tuesday I was still feeling it, right?
Wow.
And I quit. I never had a problem. I usually drank when I traveled.
Okay.
But I remember when I traveled, and I would drink with my wife, and the next day I would feel like I was dying, and like just scrambling to find the Advil for the head and water to chug, and I would check my phone, right? And I would have messages from clients, or they were complaining, or some issue with one of the companies, or any sort of problem, right? That immediately, the level of anxiety that I got, I don't know how to explain it. Obviously,
Because of the drinking.
Because of the drinking, and then I had the problem. So I wasn't feeling my 100%, so I couldn't deal with problems, right? So there I'm like thinking, okay, why would I put this in my body when I know the next day? I know a lot of people can drink, and the next day they're functioning perfect. They'll go to the gym. That wasn't my case. I'll be in bed like feeling like shit. So I'm like, why would I keep doing that if it's hindering my ability to deal with problems and all these sorts of things? So I think how you feel kind of passes in how you treat other people, how you solve problems, your creativity levels, and all those sorts of things that I'm like, I need to be feeling 110% for the majority of my day. At least I try to, because that's where I'm the most creative, the more work I put in, and I'm my best self in that sense. So that's where I'm like, I'm not drinking again. And it's been the best decision that I've ever made.
Damn,
That's
It's
awesome.
crazy.
I'm sure that's very relatable.
And people ask me like, don't you miss it? How boring it is. And I'm like, yeah, you have fun for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then after that, either you fall asleep or you start saying things that you shouldn't, then you start regretting, but then the next day, and for me, it was like 3-4 days that I wasn't feeling 100%.
Yeah, that's wild. You said Friday to Tuesday. Man, you got the
Like, let's say Friday, and then Saturday I was dying.
Yeah.
Like, I would not get out of bed.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, I'm like, okay, I'll go to the treadmill and start getting back. But then Monday, I was like, okay, physically I felt fine, but mentally it was kind of hazy. I couldn't focus. I was sleepy. And it was because I drank on Friday.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think your body was just designed not to drink.
Yeah.
No.
Cut it out.
I mean,
3 days,
I
man.
went big in college.
Did you?
I'm not gonna
All
lie,
right,
yeah.
so
So maybe my body's like, all right, it's enough.
I'm sure that's super relatable. And I've heard more than not, a lot of people with something like drinking, they just have to cold turkey quit.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. I've never, ever drank other than social atmospheres. It's like once a month out with friends, 1 to 2 drinks. And I've never had a reason to go beyond that.
Well, that's awesome.
But yeah, I love that you can just cut it off. And so, like, how did your wife deal with that? I'm just curious because you said you drink with her.
It was
She-
perfect timing because obviously I quit when she was pregnant, right? And so she wasn't drinking.
Oh, okay.
But then she's never been that big of a drinker either. I mean, she drank with me.
Yeah.
And she kept up pretty good. I mean, it was surprising. She's like 5 feet. I don't know how she handled it.
Yeah.
But then she's like, if that makes you better, then I'm happy. And that's the other key, having the right partner that kind of pushes you.
You guys did it together.
She's like, that's awesome. If that makes you better, I love the fact that you want that for your kids. They don't ever see you either drunk or feeling bad or whatnot. I support you 100%. So she was happy with it. Yeah. Now we travel, and I'm like, sometimes I'm like, a beer would be nice. A glass of wine would be nice. And she's like, oh, why?
Yeah.
No point.
Makes sense. What are you afraid of losing in life right now?
Oh man, it's weird because I was talking to my wife about this the other day. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a Final Destination movie. I don't know if you guys remember those movies.
Oh yeah.
That's dark.
That everything happens, right? So obviously, as soon as I had my kids, I'm like, these little creatures are my life.
Yeah.
Right, so I'll do anything to protect them. I'll go above and beyond, but everything a little scared. Like, so my daughter would be like running around. And I'm like, okay, what if that fan fell? And all. So you start over analyzing everything. So to your point is like, I'm like, it's my family. Like that's obviously my health. It's a major component of that. But then financial. I mean, whatever you lose, you can always make it back.
Yeah.
Family, I think it'd be my relationships, my health. That'd be the biggest thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think of that sometimes too, especially if I leave or I'm not home. Like, what if something happens? when you're not there. It's like a hard thing in your mind to think about. It's like, what if they're in the emergency room? What if something crazy did happen and they passed away, and you feel like you weren't there to protect them or stop that outcome from happening?
That's something like where I struggle. I'm like, okay, don't put those negative feelings in those negative thoughts in your mind. And I think, okay, I told my wife to go pick up this and I could have done it. What if something happens? And you start playing all these scenarios, like the Final Destination movie, that everything that went bad. And I'm like, okay, stop thinking of those things. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah. How do you manage that fear? Do you just kind of let it go, or
speak out loud? I speak out loud, like positive things. I'm like, I take these thoughts outside of my head and I just invite new positive things and just switch. Immediately I catch myself. I'm like, okay, start thinking something positive. Put those things aside. They're coming from a place that doesn't exist, and I just kind of discard them. And obviously every time it happens, I do the same process.
When you say you speak out loud, you actually...
I declare it out loud. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I feel like words have massive power. Not only thoughts, but when you speak out loud, like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to become successful. Essentially, your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. Right. So the more you put it out and you speak it and you believe it, things just start happening. That's where, like, oh, why is that guy so lucky? No, he programmed his brain to actually get to that point. Just like if you're like, oh, I have horrible luck, I'm always unhealthy, things are always happening to me. You're declaring it, and things are going to happen. So I always declare positive things. Like I said before, I wake up declaring abundance, health, wealth on my family, everything. I'm going to have an amazing day. And start from a positive standpoint instead of like, oh, I don't want to get up, I don't want to do this, because you set your tone for the rest of the day.
Yeah, totally. And I think having kids, I try to always look at the positive side of things of having kids too, because I don't want them always thinking negative, right? I mean, let's be honest. Most people, they always look at the negative side of things. They have kids, they grow up, they look at the negative side of things. I'd rather them look at the cup half full than half empty in life of being optimistic. If they get hurt, I don't try and tell them, hey, you can't do that. Don't do that. Be safe. It's like they're going to learn. If they get hurt, their brain's automatically going to realize, okay, I shouldn't do this again. Not me having to yell at them and tell them not to do it because they might get hurt doing it.
Yeah. It's just kind of that getting that fear out of their head. I mean, that's why kids learn and grow so fast. I mean, my daughter's starting to learn German. I'm trying to teach her a little bit every single day, and she picks it up like this. Why? Because she's not scared of what other people are thinking of her, or if she pronounces it not the way it's supposed to be, or if she falls, she gets up. We're always conditioned to what are people going to say. I think that's a big, big process that hinders a lot of people's success. It's like, what are they going to say? If I try this new business, what are they going to think? So we're always thinking of it. Kids don't think that.
Yeah.
They don't get embarrassed. You know, so that's why they keep trying and trying until they get it.
No, that's a big thing. I mean, for me personally, it was the same way when I first started, where when I put a camera on, it was either I didn't know what to say, I'd fumble my words, I would try to act a certain way because my brain was always thinking, well, what are other people going to think? How is this going to come off? What are they going to think? And then you kind of just eventually down the line, you learn you just don't care. Because it prevents you from doing anything that you actually want to do.
It's funny because my first video on Instagram on teaching people on the power of a personal brand, like the more followers you have, the more credibility you have, right? The more credibility, the more clients you're gonna get, the more money you're gonna get. So I had done this like whiteboard with like a flywheel kind of a thing of the cycle of, and you see that video. I did, no joke, I want to say like 105 takes, right?
Oh my God.
And then I was overthinking. Oh, I closed my eye a little bit, or I started on that word, or I didn't say this properly. I could have said this better. And I was just doing it over and over and over again because my biggest thing is like, what are people going to say of this video? And once I posted it, I got positive feedback. And then you just start kind of having to putting yourself out there because you're always kind of like thinking like, what are people going to say?
Yeah.
Wow. So what was the next take? 104 only, or?
I went to like 110 because I was trying to perfect it more. Right?
This one did well.
And it still happens. I'll do videos sometimes that I'm like, I'll do another take. I'll do this. Like, we're going to have to do another retake of me shivering in the background. And but you get to a point you don't really care, you know?
Yeah.
So, no, it's crazy. The mind is everything.
Yeah.
Totally.
Everything.
Yeah, your mindset sets the tone for everything you're going to do in the day, no matter what it is.
Definitely.
So obviously you're in a place of massive momentum. You're building an impact. What would you regret if you stopped today?
The positive that what we could do, let's say the different businesses we're getting into right now, has the potential of impacting millions of people worldwide. So I said, if I stop this now and I just lay back, like, how am I impacting others? I'll be fine for sure, right? I'll be comfortable. My family will be fine. But I couldn't impact others. I couldn't help others that maybe were in a situation that I was a few years ago, right? And not only from the mindset, but just in general. And it's not being able to help others and make a change. And now once you start getting into different circles, and that's why I'm always pushing myself out of that comfort zone of meeting new people. I've never been that social. So invite me in social gatherings. I'm like, I don't want to go. I have to socialize with people. And my wife always tells me, oh my God, you guys are so boring. But I conserve my energy, but then I've been putting myself out there, right? Because the more network, the more people that you meet, the different mindsets, different perspectives, and different. And now, right now, we're with people that are a few billionaires that we're talking to constantly, that we've partnered with, that their main goal is changing people's lives. And sometimes we get stuck on just the money-making part of it. We're surrounded with people that are just focused on making money, but not impact, right? Once you start getting out of those circles and kind of elevating yourself and getting into better rooms and better circles, that's where you're like, your mind starts shifting too. You're like, okay, it's not all about making money. It's making an impact, helping others. And that's where we've been focusing on right now.
Yeah. So with where you're at, is there still an impact or legacy that you feel you need to achieve?
I'll always feel that no matter what. It's kind of that, like I said before, the always satisfied but never fulfilled or whatever. It's like I'm always going to be pushing for more.
Always content, never satisfied.
Exactly. So I'm like, I have to keep pushing because otherwise, and as men, we're born with the need to provide, to work, to do this, to do that, you know? So I heard we were in a meeting with Damon John, right, from Shark Tank. And he said one day, and it kind of stuck with me, it's like the day a man quits or like retires is the day the man or that person starts dying.
Yeah.
Right, because if we need to have purpose, we need to have something to push for, and once we just lay back, that's where you see like older people getting older quick if they're not active.
Yeah, that's why the idea in my mind, and Devin agrees, the idea of retirement is so lame.
It's
Even
crazy.
At this point, you mentioned you could be satisfied stopping everything you're doing now, but the impact goes away. You just get complacent. You go down to that 5 out of 10 lifestyle. We could retire right now, but what purpose would you have?
100%.
It's like, okay, you have money to live, but what are you living for? Mm-hmm. And I personally, and I feel like a lot of people deep down would feel like this, but they never put themselves in the frame of mind, hey, if I had enough money, how would I feel about myself? And the feeling is selfishness. You're not living for anything but yourself.
100%.
Right? At that point, you've got money to live off of, great, but if you're just doing the things you want to all the time, you're going to go on 5 vacations in a row, and you're going to finally realize, wow, I feel like shit. Just living for myself all day, every day. And most people don't think far enough ahead as to why they're trying to make all this money to think outside of themselves.
100%. That's where, like I said, you can go on 10,000 vacations, go to the best hotels, do everything to get to a point like, I just want to be home.
It's just normal.
It just becomes
It just
normal.
becomes
You're not
life.
striving for something better. You're not striving for something more. If you get to that pinnacle of success where money really isn't anything, I'm not there. But I know a lot of people that are there that billions of dollars and they could buy anything right now. That one-click generation, they have it times a billion, right? And they can buy any car, go anywhere they want. It gets to a point that this kind of sucks.
And at least we live in a a day and age where you mentioned the one-click generation where we can listen to those people and hear like, wow, even at that level, listen to the things they're talking about that truly bring value to their life, that leave true fulfillment.
It's crazy.
And you don't have to get there to experience it through trial and error. You can listen to them through this day and age where you could pick this thing up and just watch YouTube and listen to these fascinating people say, hey, at this level, this is what matters.
And that's where I was saying before is like always find people and see what they're doing and why they're doing it and how they're doing it. Right now, one of our business partners, one of the most successful people I know, and that's one of the reasons I had told you previously that we got into this other business because we saw him absolutely crush his last company, right? He could be set. If I did what he did, I'll delete social media and I'll retire to Tahiti, right? If the purpose wasn't the goal,
Wait,
right?
where are you going?
Tahiti somewhere,
Okay.
you know? But then we see him 100% into this new business and he has back-to-back calls. This guy's like 14, 15 different calls, repeating the same exact thing because he's building something new and he's at that level. And then I think, wow, I'm comfortable. I'm complete. I don't watch TV that much, but then I'm like at 8 o'clock at night, I'll put a little Netflix before I go to sleep. And I'm like,
You're thinking of him.
he's probably on calls right now.
Yeah.
And I know he's on calls right now because he starts at 6 in the morning and ends at like at 10, 11 o'clock at night, back-to-back calls. And it's just different levels. Somebody's always going to outdo you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You gotta be around the right people, man. Connections are huge. At one point, I started not believing it because I don't know where I heard it, but you always hear the contrary of everything. People say that networking is a waste of time. And I started to believe it for a period of time. And then I realized, no freaking way. That's how I'm continually learning. I'm staying a sponge every time I'm around people that have knowledge that I don't. Which makes you
100%.
better.
And you have to be very careful, though, of the circles that you get involved, right?
Yeah.
But then you have the discerning scale that you can say, okay, that group, they're
Yeah.
doing something different.
Yeah,
Right?
and I
You can see it.
And I think that's best when you have a good heart.
Yeah.
When you mean well and you truly want to make an impact, when you get around the right people and you're learning the right pieces of knowledge, that's what allows you to elevate to that next level. 'Cause you have
100%.
good intentions behind it.
And when you're at that point is when you start picking up things. Like we've invested into different businesses, different opportunities. And the two things I normally look at when I'm going into an opportunity is like, first of all, who's behind it, right? Who are the people that are behind this, that created it, that are managing the investment or whatever it is. And then obviously the investment itself, the product or whatever. But I started seeing different opportunities that I backed out just because of who was involved. You get that second, like sixth sense of somebody like, there's something weird going on. I'm not gonna get involved, right? And it gets to a point that you kind of pick those things. When you see other people, good people transmit that energy, and it's easy to pick up, right? So it's just being careful of who you're around. There.
That's why I need good people around me because I'm naive and I'm gullible. And I love trusting people until they give me a reason not to. But
and that's a
sometimes
good
you can
thing
get burned
too.
up front.
Yeah. And like I said, it's part of growing. It's part of having those failures. That if we weren't, that's the one action taker group that I was talking about before. Like they took action once and immediately, boom, a wall. And every other opportunity, they close themselves out from something great because of it. I've been a part of opportunities that I invested in and the business went to the drain. Nothing happened. I lost my investment. And then I've had people, friends of mine and stuff like that, in that same investment. And immediately, I'm never getting into anything else. And that's where they retreat. They go back to their safety net, their 9-to-5s. It's like, I'm secure here. At least that's what they think until they get fired or they lose it, right? But they just put up walls. And I think being naive and gullible to a certain point, it's something good. Because you're always putting yourself out there. You're always open for new opportunities. You're not closing yourself, which a lot of people are, right? And if you start learning how to get burned or how to lose, obviously you start getting smarter. Okay, that's not going to happen to me next time. You start getting all these different experiences. But the important is never putting those walls up that won't allow you to have new opportunities.
True. Yeah. Wow.
It's crazy.
That's why it's an absolute necessity for me to have good people around me because I just mean so well. I think everyone else means so well.
Yeah.
I think everyone else thinks like me.
And other people, to your point, are completely the opposite. They think everything is gonna go against them, and they're out to get them, and they never try anything new because they're just scared because they think people are bad. I mean, there's a lot of them, but there's a lot of good people too, you know?
If your kids were to watch this 20 years from now down the road, what would be the biggest takeaway you would want them to get out of this podcast so far that you've said?
Never get comfortable doing what you're doing, knowing that you're always going to have failures in your life. But most importantly, just like you're picking yourself up right now as a little kid, you got to pick yourself up as an adult and keep pushing. Never close yourself off for any opportunity. And know that if you have your mind in the right place, things are going to always happen in the right way. So I think it's that. Just never give up. As corny as that sounds, and we all heard it, is just keep picking yourself up. And there's going to be falls in every single level. It just doesn't matter, right?
I'm fired up for the afternoon.
How do you hope they view you as a father outside of business?
Present. I want them to know that I was always there. That no matter what was going on, no matter the businesses, the hardships, anything, my dad was always there. Getting a little bit emotional.
Yeah, I can see it. And that just shows how much you care, because that's, like you said, the time is something you never get back with your kids.
100%.
Like, ever. So if you're not there, you're not present, you miss too many moments, you look back and wish, man, I would trade my whole life to get that moment back.
Like I want to see, like, my dad was never busy enough for me. So it's crazy because I've never been a sensitive guy. Like, my wife, when she met me, was like, I don't ever think I've seen you like shed a tear or like in a movie or cry. Never emotional. As soon as I had kids, oh man, I was like the movie, the Dumb and Dumber. They're crying over a commercial, wiping themselves with pills and everything.
Yeah,
it's like I get emotional all the time now with my kids, especially when you like touch subjects with my kids. I'm like, wow, and they're everything to me. So it's crazy.
Yeah. What's the biggest values you would want them to learn that you have?
Oh man, there's so many, but it's just treat people right? It's just treat how you want them to treat you, and just be there for everyone. Not for everyone, it's impossible, but just try to be. Everything sounds so corny, but a good human. Help others just like you would want people to help you if you were down.
Yeah,
right? And a lot of people are down and they still help, and those are the individuals that actually take off, you know, is just be there for people, be a good person, you know?
Yeah. No, I absolutely love that. And I'll close it out on this. What is the biggest piece of life advice that you would give to anybody watching at home that could help them right now just start changing their life for the better?
Have God in the middle always. God has to be the center of everything. That's my personal belief. But when you have God in the middle of everything, everything is going to turn out the way it's supposed to be, right? So when it comes to business, I mean, for me, I speak from experience, is build a personal brand, right? Learn how to connect. To your point, like, networks are everything. Who you know is everything. So build a personal brand to the point that allows you to build relationships, to connect with other people, because the more people you know, the more opportunities are magically going to pop up at your desk, right? Don't be closed off to new opportunities, knowing that you are going to fail, you are going to lose money, you are going to lose time, you're going to lose sleep, a lot of sleep, right? But you keep pushing, you're going to be successful. So again, the circle is huge. Knowing who you're dealing with, getting the right people around you, and always having God in the center, for sure.
Love that.
Beautiful.
Love it, man. Thanks again for coming on.
Appreciate you guys.
Really
man.
appreciate you, man.
I stopped shaking at the end. So wow, we can start doing it all over now.
Hey, that's the place to be.
Once he started getting a little emotional, it heated his body up. And
exactly.
He was good.
Yes. Awesome. If you guys enjoyed this awesome interview with Billy, check out other episodes from us here right at Cold Tub Talks.